Hello, James Mandolare YouTube followers, and all my gamer fans out there. How you doing? We're back with the next episode in this series of Sid Meier's Civilization 6: The Gathering Storm by Firaxis Games and Rome. Our leader Julius Caesar, actually his great ancestor that began the Julii clan back in the earliest days of Rome, 4000 BC, 6,000 years ago. We're on turn one. We've done our introduction. Now we're ready to roll to see what this game is all about. And tell you, you're in for a great time. If you've never seen Civilization 6, I'll try to keep you informed of what's going on. And if you do know Civilization 6, well, sit right on back and have a cup of tea and a cookie and enjoy. That's your only task, because this is just a game, and games are just meant to be enjoyed. And if they can teach you something along the way or make you feel something profound, then that is why games are not a waste of time. And that cliche or characterization of gamers as losers is, I think, wrong and cruel, because it's not the case at all. This is the 21st century, and I think humankind is getting more into these mental exercises that are very positive and very good. We always seem to think everything is bad, but I honestly think gaming is always good for the soul and good for the mind, because of all these calculations your mind has to do to deal with these gaming metrics. Excellent, especially for an elderly person like myself. Now, we are at 4000 BC, as I said. Now it's turn one. You can see over here it says next turn. This is the engine of the game hitting this little circle here. Now we're going to go, and this world's going to spin. The settler from Vatican City is going to run away, because he can't settle near Rome. He's got to get far enough away so he can settle. So he's panicking. Doesn't want my warrior to nab him, so he runs away. Now it's my turn to move. I just moved my warrior one space, because that's all the movement he has. And now we can see, as the warrior can see, the map gets defined. And we are going to just go walking all over the map and defining it as we go, because Gamer Jamer loves maps and history and geography and everything, countries and cultures and philosophies and religions and mythical stories and all that kind of groovy stuff. And right now, we're watching that settler escape to the south. We're going to follow him. But we're not going to follow him right now, because we can't. Now, the monument is now 11 turns, because one turn is passed. And just so we kind of understand what's going on, we're at turn 2 now, right? And now it's not 4,000 anymore, it's 3960. And doing these playthroughs, this is something I noticed. It's 40 years for each turn. And so you could say that, especially in the ancient times, 40 years was a pretty good lifespan. And it was kind of an average. It's, of course, a lot higher now. We don't have the infant mortality rates that they had back then, and we have technology that can help us. And one day we'll have that too. In this world, we'll have technology to help us. That's what the game's all about. But for now, 40 years have passed, and that passes every turn, and the turns do pile up. So let's get on to the next one. Everybody's done I did all the moving I can. Now it's the AI's turn, the artificial intelligence's turn to act, and it made that settler run away even farther so he could find a place to settle quickly, so my warrior can't get him. He's staying just out of reach. And what's this? This is a world wonder. Natural wonder, they're called. A natural wonder has been discovered. I wanted to discover that. As you know, we have a science tree, and this gives us the boost for our next choice in our evolution of science, which will be astrology. The sea seemed to roll back upon itself, and to be driven from its banks by the convulsive motion of the earth. It is certain at least the shore was considerably enlarged, and several sea animals were left upon it. On the other side, a black and dreadful cloud, broken with rapid, zigzag flashes, revealed behind it variously shaped masses of flame. Okay, she's just smoking right now, which is good, because if you're next to it when it goes off, guess what? You're dead. I've lost many units and even a hero, Hercules, with all his charges because it went off. So you don't want to get too close to it for too long. It is an impassable natural wonder. It appears as a volcano. Adjacent plots yield +1 production, provides additional yields on eruption at the cost of population and damage to infrastructure of any city that owns it. It's always active. And later on in the game, you get extra yields of culture for various things you can do later on in the game. And we'll try to check that out when the time comes. But what, for all intents and purposes now, we want to settle near it, so we can not do near it, but near enough, so that we can take control of those, yields that you get around the volcano. And all volcanoes do that. Every time they go off, those yields, which are shown here as icons, those 3 gears, the 2 corns, those are icons that I put on there to tell me what each tile is worth and what it can do for us. That's what that means. Now here's the Hermetic Order. It's another secret society. Mysterious secret society, the Hermetic Order. I think they help you with science. I'm not sure. I never have picked them. I only picked the owls. A wandering mystic appears at your palace. His body is covered in writing of a kind that you have never seen before. The symbols even seem to shine of their own accord. He begins to lecture your courtiers about the hidden alchemical properties of matter, about how mercury can be induced to flow toward the sound of birdsong, how elemental sulfur can be rendered out of sacred texts, and about the hidden resonance of certain stones in moonlight. He asks, "Do you, too, seek to know the true nature of things?" Isn't that neat? Okay, we can go to the governor's screen and see that the governors are all here. Here's our beautiful governors. We'll get to know them as time goes by. A kiss is just a kiss. The Hermetic Order, yes. We can appoint them if we want their abilities. And they have many abilities. The first is unlocked as by discovering Vesuvius, the natural wonder. And this can reveal ley lines that are energy points. Some of the hexes light up with these, and they give you adjacency bonuses to your specialty districts. That's just the first boost. They have other ones that are revealed as it goes on. We are not going to join that secret society, even though it plays to our hidden victory condition, which is science. I want the Owls of Minerva to help our economy. Discovering the natural wonder has inspired your people with the majesty of the universe. We just got our first boost, our first eureka when it's on the science tree. Inspiration when it's cultural. Okay, so now 40% of the turns have been taken off. And just to emphasize that fact, we'll go back to the tech tree here and take a look. Because it's boosted, it's only 13 turns, not 20. So if we pick it, and then we can go on, if we want, to celestial navigation. We improve 2 sea resources and get the boost for that. We'll be far ahead of the other cultures by the time they get to celestial navigation without those boosts, right? We don't have to do that, though. We might want to pick up some of these basic techs before we move on. I'm sure I'm going to want to get irrigation, writing, and archery. So that's how the game goes. You get through the tech tree, But you can't go too fast because you sacrifice these other technologies and you're left behind. And you don't want to do that. Okay? The idea is to figure it out with a strategy to get the best thing that you need at the moment to improve your civilization. Now, I'd like to hit that warrior and grab that settler before it settles. Because you can see, here's Rome. There's a first ring, second ring, third ring. It's outside of our influence and can settle right there, and I bet you it does in the next second. Watch. Boom. Always settles there. And that is problematic. First of all, it's a dumb place to settle because it's right next to the volcano, which means that you're going to get destroyed every time that volcano goes off and have to rebuild again. It's also got this mountain ridge. You can't build anything on mountains. You can't pass through mountains. They're very constrictive. It's a terrible place for a city, and it's too close to Rome. It's even within, 3 rings of Rome. And now it can expand out even here and constrict Rome even more. So I find that a terrible affront to the sacred precincts of Rome to have Vatican City warriors tromping around on my sacred province of Rome. I know we're just a little city now. We're not the powerhouse of the world or anything, but show some respect. Look at these guys. They're just tromping around. Now we got barbarians skirting the outside. Okay, here goes a mega colossal eruption of Vesuvius. Now the good thing is you can't see them because we haven't discovered the map yet, but all around that volcano, not where the city is, but every other tile is now getting yields increase. And every time it goes off throughout the rest of the game, despite the fact that it destroys your infrastructure, your city, and your units that they happen to be standing next to it, it also increases those power of your city if you got it settled. I think there's another bonus, like I said, later on in the game, but that'll come along when it comes along. Isn't that neat? Look at that. The lava spurting out there, exploding out. Yeah, I remember when Mount St. Helens went off in the United States back in the 90s, I think it was. Maybe 80s. I forget. That was pretty intense. But there it is. Isn't that great? They thought of everything in this game. Really cool. Okay? So, see, they're getting increased in their yields in the city because this went off, and that's what it does. So I guess it even affects the city. I didn't know that. I thought the city would wipe it out, but I guess it doesn't. That might be true for districts as well. Don't know. We'll find out. So, what is my goal? It's already damaged, right? Be a nice time to go sweeping in there, taking that city, and calling it mine. But I'd have to declare war, and then I'd have to fight these warriors, and I only got one. So I do plan, just between you and me, don't tell the people in the Vatican City, but I do plan on taking that city and erasing it from history. And then, of course, I know that Vatican City is a secret cabal of evil men. They don't follow the Roman gods. They follow some kind of perverted Egyptian gods. They have, like, dog-headed gods and stuff like that. And everybody knows the gods are people. Duh. Even the ignorant Greeks knew that. You know what I mean? So we're going to have to do something about it. And I'm going to have to appeal to the people. Lord Julius of the Julii, the patriarch of the Julii clan, way back in 3840 BC. He's ruler of Rome. It's not a kingdom yet. It's not a republic yet. It's not an empire yet. This is way back in the ancient days. We're going to absorb Vatican City. I vow to Venus that it shall be so. It is the destiny of Rome. Because they're evil. Of course they are. They're evil. They worship Egyptian gods. The people are not going to like that. They'll be behind us 100%. But there's nothing we can do about it now. We're just a little village, but one of these days, we're going to have to build up a military to deal with these. Look at this. Look at these warriors. Look at them. They're just tromping all over the sacred woods of Rome and on my meadows of Rome. Because they're influenced by Egyptians. They have no sense of devotion to the gods, and they're just barbarians, really. They're very close to barbarians. City-state, they think they're independent. They'll find out, but not today. Not in this generation, perhaps in the next. It's going to take us a few generations here to get our military going, but we will. I think I'm just going to fortify this warrior. There's not much more he can do. I mean, I guess he could do a little scouting. Those other warriors aren't going to do anything till I declare war, so yeah, go up there. After all, we have a barbarian scout just jamming around up there. Can't let him go without somebody watching him. He hasn't seen us yet, or he'd have an exclamation point over his head. So we're good, because as long as he doesn't see us, he won't send barbarians at us. And it's good to discover yet another city-state blocking our expansion northward. That will not do. Another potential adversary. Once we get Vatican City taken care of, we might just take care of Bologna. There's the other side of the Italian peninsula, because our city just grew to this luxury resource. Some wine. Romans loved wine. They mixed it with water mostly, but they liked wine. We don't have irrigation technology, so we can't take advantage of that wine until we get it. So there's another essential we must get. We're going for astrology now, because astrology helps you to get a religion and get faith. You need a certain amount of faith to found a religion. You need a great prophet, so it gives you great prophet points to found a religion. And you don't have to found a religion, but it is fun. There's only so many prophets. There's more civilizations than there are prophets, so if you want to get one, you got to get on it. It's time sensitive. So therefore, I'm getting that technology first. We already boosted it. Okay, animal husbandry has been finished. We have a wonderful quote here by Winston S. Churchill. We also have camps, and we've revealed where the horses are. That's a military resource that we desperately need for our military to improve. And now we can harvest cattle, sheep, and deer. It's always good. We got some deer in our precincts that we can take advantage of, give us some gold. I am fond of pigs. Dogs look up to us. Cats look down on us. Pigs treat us as equals. Winston S. Churchill. One of my favorite quotes. Okay. Gotta love animals. Animals are innocent. Okay, here we have astrology. Now that we've finished animal husbandry, we still have mining and pottery as basic texts we have to get. But since the religious thing is time sensitive, I'm going to beef up that by taking astrology now. Now, if I choose astrology, I can't do archery or some of the other texts. So, it's a win-lose situation there. And that's true for anything you build in this game. While you're building one thing, you can't build the other. And you need everything. So it's kind of up to you to manage it correctly and get what would be most advantageous to you at the moment that you're in the game, depending on your circumstance. You have to choose what that is. And that's true in life too. There are consequences to your choices, so make the best choice you can. And don't forget to not limit yourself too much. In the Taoist Book of Wisdom, the I Ching, it says, well, sometimes you got to put limitations on limitations. And I think that's great Taoist wisdom. Now, here we have discovered something that'll make me very happy and give our game great momentum is what you want. That's your modus operandi. Your big MO is to get that momentum, to get that going, to continually find ways to give yourself advantages so that you can meet up with the bonuses that the AAI gets, the other civilizations, and then surpass them to get to the victory before they can. Because if they get to the victory, any one of those victories that we saw on the list before you do, you lose. So you want every advantage you can get as quick as you can get. And this is one of the great advantages because it gives you an extra economy slot in your government. That gives you a lot of power in the game. A conversation with a new acquaintance turns to symbols. An eye in a pyramid. A two-headed owl. A serpent biting its own tail. These are the signs by which we know each other, he says to you. Later, he invites you down through the tunnels below the city to a velvet-draped room filled with figures and cloaks and animal masks, and who you think you recognize as some of the richest and most important people in your empire and beyond. Join us, offers a woman in an elaborate moth mask, her voice dripping with wealth and privilege. Isn't that cool? Well, we can go to the governor's screen. As long as these are green and we have a governor title to use, we can either appoint a governor, one of these nice governors that give you bonuses, or we can promote a governor. And they have various abilities that continue to make them more and more useful. But what we're going to do is appoint the Owls of Minerva now, because we want their bonus as soon as possible. We're going to appoint them. The rites have been performed. You have recited the names of the founders and their lineages, and memorized the signs of the owls. It is astounding how many there were all around you all this time. Your finance minister hides a tattoo of a two-headed owl on his ankle. A silk merchant idly draws an eye on his open palm. Now you are of the owls. Very good. They're the wealthy aristocracy. Very important in Rome that you placated the aristocracy, because if you made the mistake of not doing that, they killed you. And I think, Julius Caesar, stabbed in the back by his friends and enemies in the Senate in 44 BC, was a tragic figure. Tried to make some changes because there were too many slaves. There weren't enough people, enough employment, enough jobs, because they had too many slaves doing it for room and board. So why pay wages? But Julius Caesar wanted to change that. But you can't have a bloated aristocracy, an uber aristocracy, without a slave class to support it. Now, whether that's actual slavery or in our modern version, which is low wages for the working class and no services for them, and all the money goes to the wealthy industrialists and warmongers and big business gangsters that are ripping off the people, then you can have a bloated aristocracy that's above the law and has, billions and billions of dollars. What did the oil companies make this year, in 1 year? $50 some odd billion. And they're subsidized by billions of dollars by the defense industry. And that is the legacy of ancient Rome that we're dealing with today. But we have an inspiration. I believe that's what cultural boosts are about. And this is political philosophy, which is on our culture tree. Just been boosted, so it's going to take 40% off. That's awesome. Let's continue. I'll stop talking about my democratic socialist views. That's not anti-capitalism. It's just fair capitalism, where the lower classes and the working class get a level playing field. But be that as it may, I said I'm going to stop talking about that. Now we're going to go up here, following in that scout. Yes, but I know that there's some goodies up there I want to get to. So I want to settle up there too. So I might, since I'm not really prepared to go to war, I got one warrior that's not even being a warrior, he's acting as a scout. I might want to get a slinger. There's some pretty good production in this city already. Look, it only takes 5 turns for a slinger. That's pretty good. Of course, I'd like to get a settler and a builder and a scout and a warrior too. We have our monument, so that gives us some culture. That's excellent. Now I have to make a decision. What do? Do I get a slinger to back up that warrior so he doesn't get in trouble? Do I get a settler to accelerate my growth as a civilization with a new city? That's exciting. And if I do it early and often, Rome will expand to the various regions of our sea in hopes of finally taking all of it for Rome and civilizing these so-called civilizations around us and arrogant city-states that think they can block the destiny of Rome. All that talk makes me want to get a settler right away. I'm going to go for it. We're going to take 12 turns. That's going to really slow us down. We can't make any units. We can't do anything else. But once those 12 turns are up, we'll have a new city on the way. And it'll go right up there where this warrior is, because up here is a natural wonder that I want in my civilization as much as I want Vesuvius. I know it's up here. What's this? We have completed Code of Laws. So now, go in here. There are a lot of blank policies here. Please don't pay any attention to that. That has to do with the overpowered boost I've given to wonders in this game. So just ignore that. What we're looking for are discipline. We have discipline here. That's a real policy. The rest of those are blanks. That helps the game not to crash, apparently. You got survey here, double experience for recon units. That'd be good for if we got a scout. You can go twice as far and reveal twice as much of the map. That'd be great. We can get this card because we have those brown slots. See how we got 2 usually in a chiefdom, our first government. You got 1. But I got 2 because I am a member of the secret society of the rich and powerful. So there's 2 of them here, and the rest of them are blank policies. So I'm going to put them both in. We got God, King, and Urban Planning. Urban Planning gives all our cities, not just our capital, but when we found other cities, a +1 production. So it takes a turn or 2 off each thing you build in your whole empire if you have that card in. These cards are great. They're really fun. You get +1 faith, +1 gold in the capital. We need that to get a pantheon, which is the basis thing boost you get as a basis of your religion. It is just the first step. You don't have a religion yet, but you do get a pantheon. And we want to get that. We have to have so much faith to get it, because faith earns you religious things in the game. Isn't that great? Science earns you science, tech. Culture earns you civics. And gold you can buy stuff with. Just so much fun. There's so much going on. It's like playing 6 games of chess at once. And each game is like a different aspect. It's just great. They feed on each other. That's how we are going to set this policy. Our government has now evolved and has a little bit more power. Now it's only 9 turns. Remember, it was 12. Now it's only 9. Got that +1 production. We're getting some faith. We're getting some gold. +7 gold now. That's good. +2 faith is coming in because we put those policy cards in. And that's how the game works. Again, another advantage. You've got to get an advantage over the AI. And speaking of advantages, what's this beautiful graphic all about? Rainbowy graphic, tie-dye graphic. Love it. That's really cute. It's slowly kind of doing the Ken Burns move too, which is nice. Nice touch. Let me ask leave then to pay a tribute of respect and admiration to the once desired Matterhorn before his head has lost the last rays of a sun, departing to gild loftier and more distant ranges. F. Caulford Grove. Lovely. And what does the Matterhorn do? Well, I got a mod that you just hover over this and it gives you a little box with some text in it. Just like Vesuvius, it's a impassable natural wonder. You can't pass through it, but you can't pass through any mountains. Appears as a mountain. Adjacent plots yield +2 culture. Nice. That'll help us get through that civics tree, right? Gain a more and more evolved culture in our civilization and government. So that's great, right? Now, units ignore movement penalties on hills for any civilization that owns this tile. And that's great because now, throughout the rest of the game, all our units, civilian and military, will be able to scoot around better because it won't be slowed down by hills. And that's another advantage, right? Okay. And speaking of advantages, I can breathe a sigh of relief, for we have discovered the hero of heroes, the son of Zeus. So if he's the son of Zeus, he's kind of related by family to the Julii clan of Julius Caesar, because Julius Caesar clan was originated by Venus. So it's kind of Hercules, kind of a nephew. So, and of course, the Romans co-opted everything Greek and called it their own and changed the names and said they made it up. But Hercules is definitely a Greek hero. He is definitely mine. I got the monument. I'm going to grab that and forsake this settler immediately. Talking priorities here, and it's only going to take 3 turns, so we're going to pop them in. We'll get back to that settler. We're going to end this episode by popping in Hercules. You know, we are on King difficulty, so we're getting this going pretty easy. But I want an entertaining game, and I hope you're entertained. It's just getting started. And wait till you see this game really pops off once you get going. Because the early game is very different. You're discovering the map and you're kind of figuring it all out. The middle game, very different than the early game. And then the end game is really a whiz-banger where you're heading toward your victory and you're competing against all the other civilizations, and you've discovered the whole map by then, and it's just a whole different game. And that's the fun of Civilization 6 and the genius of it. And again, when it gets rolling, you get that momentum going, and it's just really fun. And you can especially do that on this difficulty level. Gives you a break. And I like that. So I'll see you on the next one. And we have the Owls of Minerva. We're going to get Hercules in just 3 turns, unless somebody else gets them. Now, everybody else wants them too. So this is iffy. Nothing's for certain. Keep your fingers crossed. Pray to Jupiter and Venus and all them that we grace Rome with the hero of heroes, the son of Zeus himself. He had a mortal mother, but he had the divine father. But Jesus is a better hero than Hercules. He had a divine father too, and a mortal mother, but he was better at it because he was immaculately conceived and all that, But Hercules, he first came up with it. He came up with it before Jesus. So he is the son of God and a great and powerful hero. So thanks a lot for dialing it up. And I hope you had fun, were relaxing and fun and had a giggle. I'll meet you back here. This is recorded on Halloween, so all those masks and stuff of the Owls of Minerva were very apropos. 2024, this is Halloween night. So have a great Halloween wherever you are, and don't fear the Reaper. It's all part of being an immortal spirit. You can't just be immortal all the time. You got to have times when you think you're not immortal. Otherwise, it gets boring. That's pretty much what it's all about. All the trials of human life we have as humans, because you can't get it in the spirit world. You get everything at the speed of thought. You can be with anybody you want. You don't ever need anything there. That's the first creation. And after a few billion years of that, we said, God, this kind of milquetoast kind of totally energetic, psychic, mental reality is cool. And it's beautiful. I love the music and the poetry and the peace and the being plugged into the oneness of the whole universe all the time and having whatever I need and want at the speed of thought, and all these dreams are great. But what about something real? And so God said, that's not a bad idea. How about I come up with the human world? And then we got lost in it. We lost the wisdom and the memories of the original creation and got lost in the vast play, and that was all part of the plan. Okay, you want to play? How about getting lost in the play? How about endless reincarnations of being lost in the unfolding drama of history? And Civilization 6 kind of takes that desire and makes it real, because you can stay with Rome here from the ancient era into the classical era, into the medieval era, into the Renaissance era, into the modern era, into the industrial age, into the scientific era, into the space age, and then blast off into the stars. It's going to be fun. And I can't wait to get back to you. You take care out there. Smooth the way. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. And trust the universe. It knows what it's doing. See ya.